Now, there's the issue of travel, which is sometimes the issue that people. Uh, this is so in the Quran, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ. So this is أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. Then you can make up days, other days. And so, أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ. So this means that you have to be traveling, right? When it's you can't. So, so if we take an example of a person in a city at Fajr time, if this is their circumstance that they are in the city, then we know that one of the conditions for the obligation of the fast upon any individual is residency. So if you're in your city, whilst you're in your city, you're not considered to be a traveler. You're not considered to be a traveler. And if that, given that's the case, if the fasting day begins, then you are obligated to travel, even if you are traveling later that day. So it might be that you're traveling later on. Maybe you're traveling 10 o'clock in the morning, and Fajr is at 3 o'clock in the morning. So now, if this happens, you're still in your city because you're only leaving for the airport at 6 a.m. Then you would need to fast this day. Why? Because all of the conditions are applicable to you in your circumstance. At this point, you are not a traveler, right? So you are not a traveler. However, if we take the example of somebody who is outside of their city, so they are outside of the city when Fajr time enters. Once you're outside your city, you're considered to be a traveler, even if as long as you're intending to go a travel distance, then even if you haven't yet reached the travel distance, you're considered to be a traveler. Right? So you've left your city, you're considered to be a traveler. This is why, even if you're only a few minutes outside of your home city, you can begin shortening your prayers, right? Because at this point, the sacred law, the Sharia, considers you to be a traveler. So now, if Fajr time enters and you are in this state, you are no longer a resident. So this condition is now missing. If that's the case, this means that somebody is now that this person now has the option of fasting or not fasting. Of course, in situations where somebody is reasonably able to fast, such as in many of the circumstances which we find ourselves in modern travel, with in relative comfort, well fed, and so on and so forth. At least before we travel. Then the basis is that it would be proper to fast, that it would be recommended to fast. However, if that's not the case, then somebody can postpone the fast, particularly when there would be some type of difficulty entailed in fasting, such as if somebody is flying westwards, and maybe they have a night flight or something like that, or an evening flight just before the fasting, just before the fast end, just before Maghrib time. But given the direction of travel and the speed of travel, they don't actually hit Maghrib, right? So they actually they don't hit Maghrib for an extended period of time. So something like that perhaps would be an exceptional circumstance, where somebody, it would be difficult for that. But now we're talking about somebody who is outside their city at Fajr time, and then at that moment they decided that they were not going to fast. This if you're fasting now and you've begun your travel, then it's not acceptable to change your mind. You cannot break your fast just because of travel. So rather, once you begin your fast, even if you later become a traveler, there's no permission to break your fast. So of course, if somebody there's overwhelming difficulty, somebody falls sick, and so on and so forth, then that you're not breaking your fast now because you're a traveler. You're breaking your fast because you are now a sick person. Of course, if there's so this is the general rule. So there's a couple of questions